What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. I've got today somebody who's in my industry, but he actually created this platform, whereas I'm like the guy that puts the puzzle pieces together in cybersecurity. But even more important than that, this dude likes to get inside the minds of hackers, okay, and protects employees against cyber attacks through really what I think is necessary, which is like virtual crisis mode, kind of planning as if everything just went to crap. So today I'm welcoming founder and CEO of Riot, Benjamin Netter. What's up, Ben?
Hey, Rick, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. So this Riot was not your first venture, right? It was fintech, and fintech, I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars in euros being transacted. How did you start that company? And then even more importantly, when you were there, how did that lead into Riot?
I mean, I'm on the tech side. So prior to the fintech, I was working in fashion. So, tech is everywhere. You just adapt. I mean, so I met the right person to do the fintech company, someone who had a strong background in finance and especially financing companies. And we decided that I would be the tech part of that. And that's how we got started. You know how it goes. And I mean, cybersecurity is probably the closest to tech I got. It makes a lot more sense that I work in cybersecurity now. I have a strong coding background. So I've been coding for like 20 years now. So it makes a lot more sense that I work for a cybersecurity company than working for a fintech or a fashion
that's awesome.
Company.
That's awesome. Now for you though, you had did I hear you right that you said you were in fashion before that?
I started in fashion. Yeah.
Now,
we were doing like a Wikipedia. I mean, I'm French, so there's always fashion involved at some point. I worked for 3 years.
Dude, you're wearing a t-shirt right now. I would have never guessed that.
What do you mean? T-shirts are cool.
They are cool. I mean, I wear a black t-shirt every day. Exactly. That's funny. I'm interested in that. But so, I mean, the fintech to cybersecurity, that makes sense, right? Because you've got all the needs for what Riot does right now and preventing hackers from getting in and compromising employees that you need in fintech, because you're protecting millions of dollars a year now, or millions of euros a year. But how was that transition from fashion into fintech? Where did that come from?
Just meeting the right person. Yeah. I was looking for the next adventure. So I met someone. I thought he was the guy I wanted to co-found the company with.
That's awesome.
That's how it started.
That's awesome. Because it's very easy to make that journey. And I mean, that's kind of a true entrepreneur, right? Because you just see the opportunity, and it doesn't matter if it's in a completely different industry than yours. Because man, true entrepreneurship is just problem solving.
Exactly.
Right? It's asking new questions. That's what entrepreneurship is. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you know that it helps people. It can be in any industry, because a lot of industries help people.
Yeah, exactly. And I was running this company for like 6 years. And at some point, so we had this cybersecurity issue with the employee entering its password on the wrong page. And so I started working on Riot, waking up 2 hours earlier in the morning and working on that before I went to my real job. And I launched. So my goal was to launch an attack on the team at that point. And the first time I had launched the attack, the first person who clicked and entered its password was the CFO. And so it was like a wake-up call,
No doubt, man. That's funny.
There's something there.
Yeah, no doubt. The CFO is the first dude. The CFO is Bob, right? The Bob in every company that clicks on anything.
It was a girl, but Bobette.
Bobette, nice. You were like in my head with that one. I like it, Bobette. Yeah. So let's be real, right? Because I mean, in the U.S., right? You're in Paris, but in the U.S., there's a lot of phishing simulation companies, right? They seem to be popping up all over the place. And they're great, but some of them are bootstrapped. Some of them raise money. I know you raised a $12 million Series A this year. How did you land that capital? What was your strategy to land that capital?
I mean, we were making money. So, it's always the same with VC firms. You make money and you don't want to raise money. And that's where they come knocking at the door. Hey, we have this fund that we just raised and we want to invest in your company. So that's how it actually happened. So basically we were almost profitable at that point. But it's still a startup. We want to grow and we want to spend more money that we actually earn, and we want to go faster. So we had to raise to do that.
Yeah, that's good though. But you were able to show cash flow. You're able to show revenue, even though you might have been operating at a loss because you were at a startup. That's important for people who are listening to catch on to, because so many think that the days of, like in tech where you have this idea, right? And you're trying to pitch this idea, but there's nothing tangible to that idea yet. It's like, I want to do this. It's like, it's much harder to get any sort of investor, whether it's VC, seed, or even friends and family, to get involved in what you're doing because there hasn't been anything done yet. You have no proof of concept at this point. So you were almost profitable. You weren't profitable, but still you had cash flow. That's important for any VC firm, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. They don't really take risks, and they look at the money and when it makes sense, they invest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's later stage. I mean, Series A, but during the pre-seed and seed round, it was a different story.
For sure. That's a different type of investor too, in pre-seed and in seed, versus VC. VCs need to have a little more meat to chew on, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. They also know that they need to exit.
We were
at some
still
point.
A very small team.
I bet. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's awesome, exactly. Man. That's exciting because you've got this. So, we're looking at this. There's one thing I want to know, and I'm curious about this because there's a lot of, as I said, in the US, right? Maybe not in the EU, but in the US, there's a lot of phishing simulation companies that have just popped up out of nowhere. And all of them pretty much seem to do the same thing. They all have the basic set of features. There's only maybe one or two that are really differentiating themselves. Yeah. How are you doing that? How are you rising above the noise?
So there's a few answers to that. First one is all competitors are pretty weak in France. So we're growing rapidly because they're just not there yet. That's answer number one. And obviously, when I was in my previous company, I tried to sign up for those competitors, and their onboarding process was extremely painful for small companies. So that was another opportunity that I saw, was that most of those companies, they're focusing on enterprise customers. And I mean, cybersecurity is a problem. I mean, you know that even better than I do, but it's a problem even for smaller companies. And they don't have the solution to cover those problems. Because if you want to target smaller companies, you have to make a better product. And that's what we're focusing on, making a product that can be self-onboarding. Your product has to be extremely good if you want to 50 people company signing up and onboarding themselves directly from the website.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the two reasons. So basically, France market was not as mature as the US market. And we were targeting a different kind of companies than they were.
Dude, I got to tell you, if it wasn't for Riot, man, if I was a hacker, I'd be going after companies in France right now. Because if it's not that mature, I didn't know that. You educated me today. Because like I said, there these phishing simulation companies that simulate these things in the US, they're all over the place now. So you're grabbing on it. It's almost like in France, it seems like it was probably 5 years ago in the US. If I could compare the timelines there. But there's one thing that you said, man, that really caught me, because you said the second part, the biggest thing, like I think you would do well in the US because of this. No joke. Because of this one thing is that you made tech human. You saw a difficulty because of the painful onboarding process. And tech can be tech, but tech, it can be exciting, but still it's supposed to accomplish something that matters to human beings. Right? The outcome is actually something very human and very relational. And that's the importance of tech, is that it helps accomplish that. Tech is not the be all end all. So you saw this thing and I'm impressed, man. I want to give you props. That's the best thing I've ever heard from any tech companies I saw a pain point with how we interacted with people. It had nothing to do with the tech itself. It had to do zero with actually Riot and what it does in the phishing simulations. You saw the pain point in actually onboarding customers and solve that. That's brilliant, bud. Way to go.
And I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I talked to this big company that everyone knows, and they set up a call in like 3 weeks.
3 weeks? What?
3 weeks later, they're, yeah, you're like, you want to be safe today. I mean, when we got hacked, I was like, I want to be safe right now. I mean, I want to target the team now and start the program tomorrow or something like this. And they set up a call 3 weeks later, and then there's the pricing coming 3 weeks after. And so you're like 2 months later and you still don't have the product. I was like, that's not normal. I want the product today.
Yeah, no joke, man. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I just got done watching the movie Founder. It's an older movie with, maybe like 10 years old with Michael Keaton. It was about Ray Kroc, the founder, well, really the person who built McDonald's, because it was the McDonald's brothers that founded McDonald's, but it was Ray Kroc that took it global and started the whole franchise system. But the McDonald's brothers, because it was back in the 50s, they had these car hops, right? They were drive-in things. The idea of fast food didn't even exist. And it would take like 20 minutes for the server to go out to the car, take the order, then cook the food, bring it back 20, sometimes maybe 30 minutes later. But that's the biggest thing that they eliminated, that McDonald's is still famous for today in founding the idea of fast food. It's like, why are we wasting time? When people pull in, and the only reason they're here, they stay in their cars. They're literally here just to eat food. So they eliminated that and like, here you go. Hamburger, French fries, Coke in 30 seconds. And that's the same principle. It's like they met people where they were. They eliminated the biggest problem in food service, just like you eliminated the biggest problem in tech. Why 3 weeks, bud? It should be like 3 hours. Let's get going.
I have no idea. And I mean, maybe we were a small company compared to other companies they talk to, but
whatever. Take what you have right now, man. Dude, you've impressed me today. Where can everybody find you? What's the website for Riot, and how can people connect with you individually?
Sure. Tryriot.com, and I'm Benjamin Letter, so you can reach out on LinkedIn. I'm easily accessible, so you can easily find me. I'm everywhere.
Awesome. Dude, this was fantastic today because we hit on some very human things that can apply to any business. Thanks for being on, my man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ray. Have a good time.